Hi, I'm Kapil, a career discovery coach. I help students to explore different career fields with the industry experts. Recently, I had a conversation with a design industry veteran, Mr. Rajib Ghosh, with over 25 years of experience working at some eminent organizations like Oracle and Microsoft. He knows the design field inside and out. In our conversation, Mr. Ghosh broke down exactly why design is one of the most promising career fields for the aspiring students. He shared key trends, essential skills, and a clear outlook for the future. Watch the complete conversation right now and unlock those valuable insights. Want to understand from your side what is your journey? Then we'll go through a little bit deep dive that what exactly this design area, design field, and what are different streams in design. Because it's a very vast area design if we
Hmm.
look at. Then we'll see how, from the student point of view, right?
Hmm.
What is the, I mean, growth prospects, or we can say, what
Hmm.
is the demand in this specific field in India or globally, we can see. And little bit, I want to understand from the higher education landscape,
Hmm.
means what are the different good institutes in India and globally.
Hmm.
These all things areas we'll explore in this session. So please, we'll start with your journey, how you have
Hmm.
started, how you have come up, how you have started in this journey, and uh, I mean your experience in different projects and different companies you have come across.
Within my 5 years over there in NID, National Institute of Design, I have seen like the growth of technology, right? And towards my fourth, third or fourth year, fortunately, again, I've been very, very fortunate throughout my, whatever till now, my work. I got an opportunity to work for a project sponsored by Apple Computers, student project, but by Apple Computers, and this was like they invite essentially 10 universities. They used to do this, 10 universities around the world to kind of solve a local problem using design, like really, really local problem. So that's the first time I experienced proper human-centered design without any guidance or teaching or whatever it might be, right? Like that's been my first exposure. And although I went into become a graphic designer, I immediately figured this is what I want to do, right? So even my final project was an interaction design project back in 97, right? So at that time, who has heard about interaction design? You can imagine, right?
Mhm.
I did not even have a guide who properly knew this area and so on. Professor MP Ranjan was there, who was essentially kind of helping me out. In any case, so from then onwards, that after that, there was the 2000, like the startup thing, whole fully started off, right? Silicon Valley. So I joined a company here in Hyderabad. That's how I came here. A startup, knowledge management startup. From there, it has been mostly, I mean, not mostly, but I would say probably 50% of my career is startups. 50% is larger organizations. And in the middle, I worked at Oracle for a bit, as sort of I'm kind of growing up in my career. Um, and Oracle did not have a design presence over here. Okay, so me and my manager were the first two hires to essentially set up the team, set up the facilities for usability testing, and so on and so forth, right? So in all of these, you can see there is a lot of new for the first time, for the first time, for the first time, right? So
Mhm.
for me, that is very, very valuable because there is no guidance, there is nobody has done something like that before, and thereby it's all self figure out. You make mistakes and learn and so on, right? So that has been the trend mostly throughout my career. Then Microsoft, right?
Mhm.
Microsoft, as you can imagine, it's a very different ball game. It is large. It's crazy big in the numbers that you're talking about. The scale is like really, really crazy, just like in at Oracle. Um, but overall, if you kind of, for me, the theme has always been something new.
Hmm.
Okay, I have always, like, even within Microsoft, there are three, four, five initiatives that I have worked on which has not been done before,
Hmm.
and that gives me a lot of joy. Like, if I am going to a company and doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, then where is my learning,
Hmm.
right? So my focus has always been that, like, what do I do to accelerate my learning, and obviously, pass that on to my team, or whoever wants to kind of talk to me and so on. So that's the second common theme, which is, one is do something new, second is always keep learning through that process, and never, never, never stop learning, basically.
Great, great, amazing. One question just coming
Yeah,
to my mind
please.
at this moment is, see, you have
Mhm,
initiated your career with the graphic designing, right? You
mhm,
were in the
mhm.
print
Communication design,
ads,
yes,
print
print, yeah.
communication, and then you switched your career path to product design, right? UI and
Hmm.
UX. So
Correct.
how was this transition happen, and what was the challenges you came across in this transition?
Yeah, yeah. um See, I never looked at, like, the word challenges never came to me in my mind. Like, you are
Okay.
stating it as a challenge, because
Hmm.
if I am in that space, because I am motivated, and because I am loving what I am doing, it
Hmm.
never even, it's an occurrence, right? Like, hey,
Hmm.
this looks like a challenge to me, versus, oh, you know what? I'm so deep into it. I don't even have any sort of positive, negative perspective into it.
Hmm.
I'm just deep into it, just doing it, learning and making mistakes and all of that stuff, right? Um, the difficulty I had, or rather, I think I could have learned faster if I had mm, if I had a better, I mean, somebody who is, how do I put it, like, who had industry experience at that point of time. I
Hmm.
did not have the luxury, because the field itself was so new,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So there wasn't any I have not learned interaction design. It's all by doing
Hmm.
and seeing, oh, this worked, this didn't work, etc., etc., right? So I won't even say this is a challenge, but I think my learning could have been a little bit more faster if
Hmm.
there was, it already existed. But I, honestly speaking, I mean, I don't look at it as a challenge at all.
Now, we'll just deep dive. We'll just look at the design at this moment, right? The
Hmm.
design field altogether. Now, at this moment, there are different streams, right, in design.
Yeah.
So, can you please just name it some of the stream, and what would be the growth prospect in those streams
Hmm.
if we
Yeah.
look
I
at the
mean,
design?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, see, I mean, design these days have a lot of branches that have
Yeah,
really come
yeah,
up, right?
yeah.
So I don't think I can even remember everything, but I think, um, product design obviously is one of the top ones, right? Brand still exists. Designing, identities and brand is still a very big thing, right? Like, we still do that, and larger companies spend still millions of dollars designing identities and brands, and redesigning them and rethinking about them. So that's obviously the second one. A lot of things that have recently, not recently, I mean, that is still going on with some brute force is, for example, your, animation design, right? So that has seen, especially animation in game design, and animation has seen a lot of advancement because of
You also have
technology,
worked in
right?
game designing as well, right? I have
Yeah, a
seen one of
little
the
bit. Yeah,
projects.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. A little bit. Yeah. Uh, those early days, right? 3D modeling
3D
and
modeling. Yeah.
game. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So, I think then the fourth one would be fashion, textiles and fashion. That is another area that I feel like is trying to move on with the way technology is moving forward, and also the way the world is becoming more sensitive to, for
Hmm.
example, things like climate change, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
equity and equitability, not equity, and
Hmm.
inclusion and
Hmm.
diversity and things like
Hmm.
that, right? So all of these fields are sort of in a place where they are becoming very sensitive about these things, safety and security and all of those, as well as they are having to move on with very, very rapidly with the evolving technology, right? So I'm just naming a few these fields, and there's obviously actual industrial design like product design, and then automotive design, and all of those things that are there. But all of they are kind of on the same boat. I
Great.
think there are cultural shifts going on, and because of which there are new things that are coming up, which earlier we never spoke about in that much depth. For
Hmm.
example,
Hmm.
inclusion and diversity, and things like that. At the same time, the pace of technology advancement is so rapid that it is affecting all of these areas. All
Hmm.
of these areas.
So, as you have just rightly said, machine learning or AI. So, I mean, can you please elaborate that the introduction of AI? Now, AI definitely will be enhanced, right, day by day.
Yeah. Yeah.
How it will impact on design as a career perspective?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, see, I would say how it will impact is probably an understatement. I would say we need to now rethink what design is really. Okay, because I just I think couple of weeks back I kind of wrote a blog about what is the future of user experience design, right? Are we going to sit and still design screens and flows? My belief is no, right? Those days are gone essentially, because that can be done by somebody else.
Absolutely.
We will essentially be probably designing the logic and the structure, which is essentially like design systems. Okay. Um, and the logic meaning the data that we are going to capture and what decisions the AI should be making. I personally think that is where it is going.
More strategic
Okay.
approach, I would say, right?
More strategic approach and more data driven approach, because we'll suddenly, as any common citizen, as designers, we will start getting access to incredible amount of data of user. Okay,
Yes, yes.
which includes telemetry, obviously, which we have today, like where they're clicking and where they're not clicking and where they're going, but that's very scratching the surface. We'll start getting data about, okay, what are they doing when they're doing this, right? Are they sitting in a cafe while they're browsing Instagram, or are they at home sitting on a couch and watching TV and while browsing? We will start getting data about, oh my god, like this guy just got annoyed by like this advertisement in the middle of their Instagram flow, right? Because we are detecting facial microfacial expressions and we know that person is annoyed. We know also that he scrolled faster over there and moved
Hmm.
on that. So so those small things will start making more sense, which we could not do before because of no way to process that data and learn from
Hmm.
it. So
Hmm.
that will dramatically change things, and thereby we can't design for each and every specific scenario. We will have to create logic, create a design system, and then let the logic kind of throw the interface at the user in real time
Hmm.
generated.
Hmm. So I would, so what I just pointed out that with at this moment, what I think that for a product designer, two skills are very important. One is the creative skills and technical skills.
Mhm.
But from now onwards, the logical skills, strategic mindset, data analytical skills, all these skills would be very much important, right?
Yeah,
In the age of
exactly.
AI going
Yeah,
forward.
yeah. And yes, and also, interestingly, because now we as designers, and in fact, this is true for, let's say you're in a organization like Microsoft, right? You already work with teams like the data team, the engineering team, the PM team, at least at the research team, right? These four teams as a designer.
Hmm.
Now the roles are getting so overlapped because of AI, yeah, that we will not be able to work in silos like we do today. Okay,
Hmm.
we can still take a brief from PM, go design something and come back and so on and so forth, right? Back and
Hmm.
forth. So I think the way we work also has to change very dramatically. What we call, or many people call, you know, um, extreme collaboration, right? Where you are, y- that is the only way, because that's how we can move fast.
Hmm.
Extreme collaborative environment. I need to be able to speak the PM's language, the PM needs to speak the design language, and I need to speak the engineering language and the data language as well. I can't say, actually, I don't know what you're talking about. Explain to me first what this means.
Hmm.
I may not need to code, but by the way, if I needed to, I can still as a designer, okay, today
Hmm.
because of the technology. So, this essentially, in fact, I won't be surprised if I see the designer and engineering sitting and using AI to code something together,
Hmm.
okay, as AI being the co pilot.
Hmm.
Okay, where engineering writes for the back end and the designer says, oh, wait, if you are doing this, then how am I going to support this UI function? Let me also put in something over there which will make it so, collaborative. So that is the level of collaboration you'll have to get into.
Absolutely. So let's deep dive more on the product designing as you have more
Mhm.
major experience in the UI UX and product designing. So when we talk about creative skills or technology skills, uh,
Mhm.
percentage wise, for a successful designer, I mean, what is the percentage of skills would be required for a product designer? Creative or technological skills?
See, I don't know how to be honest. They're not. You can be a technology person, also be very creative. Meaning, you the way you write code is extremely creative, and you know how to
Hmm.
kind of really get something done using very creative methods of problem solving, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so I don't truly make a difference between those two, right? But I think maybe what could be the potentially, I mean, if I have to paraphrase,
Hmm. Hmm.
is potentially, rather than saying creative, it is more about visual aesthetics in a way, right? Because we are more trained to kind of look at visual aesthetics in a way that maybe an engineer doesn't look at.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, is that creativity? Of course, that is creativity. Now,
Absolutely.
is writing beautiful code creativity? Of course, that is creativity as well, right? So I think in our case, we have to be a little bit probably more specific, um, talking about that visual aesthetics, the sense of visual aesthetics is something that is unique to designers. right? Because they are trained, because many of them have been artists before and so on and so forth.
So
Now,
maybe a coder
yeah,
cannot, maybe the coder cannot do that, right? And
exactly.
that is the
Exactly.
USP of a designer, right?
That is what I mean, right? So yes, that is also creativity, a type of creativity. But I think, it will become more and more important to be, for us to be more specific. Is basically what I'm saying. Now, as far as visual aesthetics is concerned, and then technical prowess is concerned, right? Those are the two things I think. Like, I would literally say at least 50-50%. Okay,
Okay.
because going forward, it's not going to cut it if you know a little bit of technical. Because, like I said, from day one, you will have to start working with engineers and PMs and so on.
Hmm.
The reason being, y- like, think about this, right? You can't design a UI for a conversation that you're having with AI, right? You can design the UI, meaning, oh, chat box yahan aega, this thing idhar aega, like surface you can design, but you can't design the interaction, okay?
Hmm.
Because you don't know what the response is going to be of the AI.
Interactions and the transactions, what's going to happen, right?
Yes,
Hmm.
correct. So in which case you can't design for all of this unless you are literally sitting with the engineer and you are actually building together.
Hmm.
You see a response, then you say, aha, oh, I see. So this can be a response. And then you tweak your response into saying that no, 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 this needs to be more friendly. And that is where my earlier point was, there needs to be guidelines rather than actual designs.
Okay. So in this, how you have, I mean, improved or built your technical skills? Because usually in NID, I think
Mhm.
they usually teach the visual aesthetics part, right, of the
Mhm,
design.
mhm,
So
mhm.
how you have built your technical skills during the
Eh,
course?
Through work, Kapil, just working. Like most of
Okay.
my, like I said, I mean, there's a one of the reasons I didn't go for my masters is that, like, I felt that gaining that knowledge through actually working for me is working on much better than dedicating another 4 years or whatever, like 3 years or 2 years for doing a masters, right? Because
Hmm.
by the time I do masters, come back to the industry, yeah, my salary will be more,
Hmm.
but I have to learn a lot of things in the industry being there,
Absolutely.
right? So that is the thing. I have learned all through hands on. Like, if something intrigued me, oh, that is interesting, I will go and try it out. That is how I know 3D modeling and texturing and all of that stuff.
And you have done a lot of certifications as well, right? After that.
Yeah, exactly right. That is how
Hmm.
we have to do it. Like psychology, neuroscience. Like, I am not an expert in all of that stuff,
Hmm.
but I can fundamentally have a conversation with you about it.
Hmm.
Okay. I can't like detect you with a neurological problem, no. But if a doctor explains to me in medical terms also,
You
I
can
can understand.
understand. You can
Huh,
understand.
huh.
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
difference.
So at least, so for a designer perspective,
Hmm.
if you talk about the technical skill, he or she
Yeah.
should understand what a coder is about to
Yes.
say, right? He should
Yes.
understand, at least
Yes.
not a very,
Yes.
uh, we can say very deep understanding, or he can write a code, but at least the understanding of the technical terms he should be aware
Yeah.
about it, right?
Yeah, see, writing a code these days is even becoming not a problem. You can see that I have written like apps just by command, right?
Hmm.
So that's not the problem. The problem is understanding what is the logic
Logic,
behind it.
yeah.
Okay. So, like, again, to give you my own example, earlier I used to work, like, the products I have worked on early on in the
Hmm.
startups, it was all HTML based, right?
Hmm.
So I was getting frustrated because the designs I was giving is not like happening exactly, because the engineers were not that savvy in front end, right? So I started doing HTML, CSS, etc., etc. myself.
Hmm.
And there was a point when the front end developer said, "Acha, ye nahi hoga." I said, "I will do it and show it to you. It is possible to do it."
Hmm.
Okay. So HTML, CSS is very simple, but, like, you talk about machine learning and all of these things, they are much more complex, obviously. So you can't become a code writer, but it is possible, very much possible, to kind of understand the fundamentals.
Absolutely. I got your point. So, what is a usual day of any product designer in a company? Can you just, what are main KRAs or roles he
Mhm.
goes through? What is a usual day of a product designer in a company? An annual
Yeah,
day?
so I have not been a product designer, so to speak, for a while now, but I will put on a hat for that. Okay. So I think usually a product design, like I'm reflecting on my team who was working on, because I've stopped doing hands-on design for a while, no? So
I can understand.
um yeah, so my team would honestly spend a lot of time doing two major activities. Okay. One is actually designing screens and concepts and all of that stuff. And the second part is conversations with PMs and engineers. Okay. Meaning
Hmm.
meetings essentially, nothing else. Those take a bulk of any product designer's time. Okay. Now, design, if you know how to design, that 50% of time is great. Like you're like really enjoying doing the design or whatever, like specking and this and that. And I'm putting all of those kind of so-called design into one bucket. Like design meaning sometimes you might be generating concepts, sometimes you might be actually making specifications of a UI or
Workflows and
whatever.
all, right? Hmm.
Correct, correct. So I'm bucketing all of that stuff. Now the second bucket is even more critical, which is your conversation with your partner teams. Okay, be it uh, partner as in another product area that your feature overlaps with,
Hmm.
or another, or the PM that you work with, who is basically look at the design and say, yeah, yeah, this satisfies the needs and so on and so forth, or the researcher who has gotten you data to be able to design it. And those meetings are, I would say, in fact, it should be like almost 80 to 70/30, because those meetings are so critical that if those are well done,
Hmm.
then the rest of the time that you spend 30% on designing would be would be required very little.
Okay.
Because most of the time where it takes more time is when you design something, go back, and there is a mismatch of expectation. You come back, iterate, and you go back again, right? Because you believe something, that person doesn't believe in it. So you are handling a, PM engineering says, oh, I can't do this thing. So yeah,
So
negotiation,
I
no.
think a lot of things happen in agile way also, the agile methodologies,
No, no,
sprints, right?
it does,
Right.
but
Hmm.
theoretically it should, but then these negotiations takes up a lot of time.
Time, absolutely.
Okay. So if you are good, and this is something, I was just discussing with the same PM, that if you are really good in having those conversations, your time to produce something will cut down massively,
Hmm.
right? Basically, which means you have to be really good at communicating your design, focusing on, your user needs and that bit. Third, do you really truly understand the business needs?
Hmm.
Okay. And is your design going to meet the business needs?
This is
And
very
fourth, what does
important.
it,
This is a
yeah.
very important
And
point. Okay, so
exactly.
now we'll move on to the higher education pathway or landscape, right?
Hmm.
So you have spent, you said 5 years in NID, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So how was that? Can you please tell me about the environment of NID and the program itself, the bachelor's in Bachelor of Designing in NID? Can you
Mm-hmm.
please show some lights on it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best time I've had in my life, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because like again, like there were like such diversity of knowledge. Yeah, starting from ergonomics to typography design to me working with metal and wood in the workshop, and it just amazing, and everything is like you're creating things with hand because computer was less. So yeah, it was quite amazing. And the faculties, right there, they are it makes a huge difference. Two things: one is the faculty, another one is your seniors.
Hmm.
The faculty was phenomenal because these are like, I think, the best in, comparable to some of the top global design teachers and designers. They themselves have practiced design, right? They're not just educators. Each and every person, I can like, I won't take names, but all of them, right? They are such inspirations, and that was like quite phenomenal. And the second part is like we used to look up to our seniors, like, oh my god, like one day I want to become like this person. That's the sort of thing you need to have,
Hmm.
uh, because they become sort of inspiration and motivation for
Hmm.
them to
Hmm.
see that what they're accomplishing, and that. And I think the final third point would be the space. It had, at least when I was in NIT, the space was a little bit different. It was all open studios. Now they have made all divided. And this is basically your Bauhaus style of learning, where it's the studio culture, it's apprenticeship, like basically with your mentor and you and all of that. And you'll like, we had studios of like us learning here and the seniors working there. So you could just walk in there. There is no floor to ceiling walls, nothing. These are all partitions, right? Open office aajkal hota hai na.
Hmm.
It was all like that. So it's always like you go from one desk to another desk, you get to know something. You go to
Oh,
another desk to
great.
another desk, you like, oh wow, this is so amazing. Like it's
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
So it's full of
Now,
energy.
now that culture has come in the corporates as well, right?
Yeah, but
The cubicles has removed, right? Now in corporates.
yes, but then I don't think that level of motivation and inspiration is there in corporate.
Okay, okay. If we compare the orthodox government-led institution like NID and all, and
Yeah,
now the new age private institution like BITS also has started, right? Their design school.
yeah,
So, can you give some light on that if we
yeah,
compare both the institutions?
yeah. Um, See, I think institutions like BITS, right? Or I mean, any institute of that sort of caliber,
Hmm.
what they have is money. Okay, they do have money. Okay,
Yes.
they can hire very good faculty. But getting good faculty is still a problem. Okay, so that is one thing. I like, no matter whichever institute I have spoken to.
Hmm.
Okay, they have mentioned about faculty development. Okay, so
Hmm.
that is still remains to be a problem, because again, the point is that, see, when I learned design, the people who taught me has practiced their craft for 30 years, 40 years.
Hmm.
Okay, today, who has that 40 years of experience in interaction design, you tell me? Because the discipline itself is so new, right? So
Absolutely.
you get very new people.
Okay.
And there are two types of people: one who've just stayed in education, okay,
Hmm.
who are teaching, they have
Hmm.
very little sense of the industry.
Hmm.
Another one is industry people who haven't taught very much. They don't have the time to go and teach, unfortunately. Okay, so there are these two classes. So I think I've done some workshops and stuff in bits, not in Bombay but over here. I think they are very, very bright students. Okay, very bright students, and I think the access that they are getting today of various things, it's privileged, I must say. So I just, I don't know, I just wish there was more rigor.
Hmm.
Okay, right now, what has become, even in NID to some extent, and I think it has nothing to do with the school, it has also, I mean, not nothing, but not entirely to the school. My personal opinion, this is also about the generation. Okay, it is about I want to like this.
Hmm.
Okay, ये क्यों करना है, वो क्यों करना है, you know, how will this help me? People
Focus
actually ask.
focus is not there, right?
No, yeah, focus is not, no, actually it's the other way around. Okay, they want to get something hyper focused and they don't want to do anything else.
Okay,
Okay, but like the thing that I was telling you when we started our conversation, you need to know A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
absolutely.
H, everything.
Multiple
Okay,
skills need to acquire, right?
right. So unless you do that, you'll only be good at A and not know anything about the rest of the stuff. So now the
Hmm.
problem with the current students is they want an ROI for everything.
Hmm.
Okay, and I have gotten feedback from people who teach in NID also.
Hmm.
Faculties get asked, "Oh, how I'm learning graphic design? Why is this important for me?"
Hmm.
Okay, in our times we never asked that question, and we've seen the benefit later on, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is why. Like, there were certain assignments that were like annoying like hell. I'll give you one example. Okay, this is really funny. We were learning photography. You know what our faculties asked us to do?
Hmm.
Take a brick, wrap it with paper, tie rope like a handle, carry it around on your shoulder all day long. And
Okay.
we looked like idiots to our seniors and other students, like juniors, and like कर क्या रहा है ये, खाने जा रहा है
I think
brick,
weight
यहाँ
weight of your kit, right?
camera bag
Camera bag, yeah.
is actually more than the weight of a brick. I realized later on,
Yep.
right? Like, so these are like, if you ask somebody, a
In
student
today's
of,
generation, it's very difficult.
they will call their parents.
Yes.
Okay, so anyways, jokes apart, I think so those are the two challenges I see mostly. Okay, and not just in schools like BITS, but as well as NID is facing the same thing. And the second one is that this generational mindset, which
Hmm.
is which is not very open, which is not like, and there's a reason for this. I believe people choose design as one more option. If they didn't choose design, they would have chosen some other thing, engineering or something else, right? But the people who want to do design and nothing else, they chose design because they wanted to do design. Those are the people you will find that they will do whatever necessary. Okay, and those kind of people are less and less and less and less. Like even parents come and ask me, "Acha, my son is doing JE, NIT, ये वो, उसको बोल रहा हूँ मैं NIT में apply करो." I'm like, what are you saying? They are not even the same thing. What does your son want to do in life?
Hmm. Hmm.
What is he passionate about? You get what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
So that is the core of it. It is not about the institute. Only thing that the institute can control is the faculty and the facilities that they provide and the curriculum,
Hmm.
right? Faculty I already addressed, which is
Hmm.
most, I mean, there is a lack of faculty, well
Hmm.
educated faculty. Okay, very
Hmm.
few. I can, like, I know a couple of them, that's why I'm telling you, who are very good. Facilities, people have money, they can provide. That's not a problem. Curriculum directly related to the faculty who mostly don't understand, and thereby starts getting hampered, the
Hmm.
curriculum.
Last one more point that what
Mhm.
about the portfolio building or profile
Yeah,
building, right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
would be very much important, right? When they go and
yeah.
pursue some good colleges,
Sure,
right, later on.
absolutely, absolutely. Portfolio building is something, it's like an integral part of it, right? And I personally feel that portfolio should reflect you, not a template that you have
Yeah,
taken from somewhere.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like if I create a portfolio, the color I chose,
Hmm.
the complexity or simplicity or whatever I chose, it should reflect me. There's a very specific reason on my website. There are only two colors, black and a particular red that I like.
Hmm.
Okay, because I come from very classical graphic design. Those were the colors of print.
Hmm.
okay, that we used to play around, and so on and so forth. So there has to be that. And leaving that aside, I think content as well. I think I've seen so many resumes. Everything is templatized. You don't know what is true, what is false, everything, nothing. You will see like user journey maps. Okay, they'll talk about how user journey map banaya hai, but where did you refer to it later on while you're designing? Nothing,
Hmm.
right? Some people actually do the user journey later on just to put it in a portfolio,
Hmm.
right? So being very authentic.
Great, great. So thanks, Rajiv, and I think we have
Absolutely.
covered majorly all the areas which I mean, I was thinking and I decided. And thanks a lot for sharing very important and insights, right, from your experience and your journey.